Today I would like to give a very high-level introduction about the Orange Book. Okay, before starting, this is a take-home message from my presentation that Orange Book is the only resource that identifies, a reliable resource that identifies FDA-approved drug products related and drug patents and exclusivity information. The topic of this presentation include provide a brief history and overview of the Orange Book and explain the content of the Orange Book and describe how to identify and understand drug products, patent, and exclusivity information in the Orange Book. The official title of the Orange Book is the Approved Drug Product with Therapeutic Equivalents Evaluations. The physical copy of the Orange Book is actually orange, and hence the adopted friendlier nickname, the Orange Book. In the late 70s, virtually every state adopted laws and regulation to encourage substitution of drug product that contain drug costs. And the agency recognized need that to publish a single list of all prescription drug products that were approved by the FDA as both safe and effective, along with therapeutic equivalents determinations for multi-source prescription product. And this is the first publications is actually in October 1980, and we choose the color orange because orange is the color of the fall in the U.S. So just a tribute that want to let you know. And the Orange Book fulfills a mandate to list drug products approved as both safe and effective under Section 505C of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. Orange Book also contains substitutability information for approved drug products, and also, as mentioned earlier, it contains patents and exclusivity information. The Orange Book is available in several different formats. There's the traditional paper format. The printed version is actually available from the government printing office, and you can order them monthly and annually. The second most popular is the electronic Orange Book, also referred to as EOB. It's available online with web address www.fda.gov/Orange Book. You can download the entire Orange Book PDF file or the text file from the Orange Book website as well. In this website, there's many ways to you can search products, patents, and exclusivities, and everything's just under your fingertips and given instant access to answer you're looking for. So it's very convenient. About 2 years ago, and the agency also made the Orange Book available via the mobile app, and we call it the Orange Book Express, and it's available for both Apple and Android users. So how often do we update the Orange Book? Some information update occurs daily. For example, generic drug approval and patent listings are updated daily, and usually by the end of business day. Some information update occurs on a monthly basis. For example, NDA approval, exclusivity, applicant name change, marketing status, and other changes related to listing drug product. And these changes are usually updated in the Orange Book by the end of the second work week of the month. And finally, the annual update is just a compilation of all the changes throughout the years and comes out in the beginning of the year. Now, it's important to know that the electronic Orange Book and the Orange Book app contain the most up-to-date information. There are 3 key sections in the Orange Book: the preface, drug product list, and patent exclusivity. The preface contains background information and definition of technical term used in the Orange Book. The bulk of the Orange Book is actually the drug product list, which contains all the FDA-approved drug products and prescription and over-the-counter, and of course, the substitutability between products, and also the patent exclusivity. And what is not included in the Orange Book Any pre-1938 drugs that are not subject to pre-market clearance, and also drug product marketed between 1938 and 1962 that have not completed the SE process. That's and also any unapproved market product. For example, a lot of the certain presentation of sodium bicarbonate that's circulating in the market is not in the Orange Book, and some TPN components are not also in the Orange Book. Also not included in the Orange Books are any product that are not approved under 505 route, such as the medical gases. And lastly, Orange Book does not publish any approved drugs that had discontinued marketing prior to 1979. Now, this is a screenshot of the Orange Book of a product under the brand name of furanol codeine, and there's 3 generic and 1 NDA product here. And because this is a multi-source product, and you see a 2-letter therapeutic code that for all the generic products and under the brand name product as well. Now, the coding system is designed to allow users to determine quickly whether the agency has evaluated a particular approved product as therapeutically equivalent to other pharmaceutically equivalent products. Hence, the first letter also provides additional information on the basis of evaluation or dosage form, hence the second letter. So the therapeutic equivalent is defined. This is just lift from the stats sheet. So therapeutic equivalent is defined as approved drug product that are pharmaceutical equivalents for which bioequivalence has been demonstrated, and that can be expected to have same clinical effect and safety profile when administered to patients under the condition of specified in the labeling. Now, there's 2 terms that we need to further define. One is the pharmaceutical equivalent. Now, pharmaceutical equivalent are products that contain identical amounts of identical active ingredient in the identical dosage form that has an identical route of administrations. Second term is bioequivalent, and it is defined as the absence of significant difference in the rate of extent to which the active ingredient or active moiety in pharmaceutical equivalent becomes available at the site of drug actions when administered at the same molar doses under similar conditions. Drug products are substitutable or therapeutically equivalent if they are A-rated. To be A-rated, both products are either have no known suspected or suspected bioequivalence problem. For example, most of the IV solution are IV injectable. A-rated also indicate the actual potential bioequivalence problem have been resolved with in vivo or in vitro study. AB is the most common TE code in the Orange Book. As mentioned earlier, the second letter also designate dosage form in some instance. In the Orange Book, sometimes you also see B-rated product, and with the B, that means they are not therapeutically equivalent to each other. Okay, that there are potential bioequivalence problems that have not been resolved, or lack of adequate evidence of bioequivalence. And here is an example of a drug that is listed in the Orange Book that has a BX rated, and they are not substitutable or interchangeable. The next is the Orange Book also identifies drug products upon which applicant relied in seeking approval of its ANDA. They are called reference listed drugs, and or RLD. And FDA normally assigns RLD to most of the NDA products. And reference standards is a relatively new concept or terms. Reference standard is the drug product selected by FDA that an applicant must use in conducting an in vivo bioequivalence studies for the approved ANDA. And ordinarily, FDA selects the reference listed drugs as the reference standard. If there are multiple strengths, the highest strength will be assigned as the reference standard. When ROD is unavailable and there are multiple approved generic products, FDA generally select the market leader as the reference standard. We are switching gear to talk about patents. Patents are property rights issued by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office to protect inventor for their inventions. NDA applicants are required to submit patents that protect their approved drug substance, drug products, or approved method of use. Only patents submitted in Form FDA 3542 will be listed by the FDA following the approval of an NDA or NDA supplement. Form FDA 3542 guides the applicant step by step to ensure complete information is submitted. Now, to be considered timely file of the patents, the applicant should submit their patent within 30 days after the date of approval of an NDA or NDA supplement. If a patent is issued after an NDA is approved, the applicant must submit required patent information within 30 days of the issuance of the patents. If the applicant submits their patents timely but rejected by Orange Book staff for incompleteness, the applicant must resubmit the acceptable form within 15 business days of FDA, actually 15 days of FDA notification to be considered timely file of the patents. Patent listed in the Orange Book may be challenged by a third party, but it is important to know that FDA assumes a ministerial role with respect to patent listing, and any dispute has to be resolved in the court, and FDA does not act as an intermediary or referee. Now here is a screenshot of some patent listing in the Orange Book. List whether they are for drug substance, drug products, or use code, and also their respective expiration date. The last part of my presentation will be on exclusivity. Exclusivity is exclusive marketing rights granted by the FDA. If a drug product has received a qualified exclusivity or exclusivities, the FDA will not accept for review and/or not approve a 505(b)(2) application or ANDA under 505J in accordance with the relevant exclusivity. So there are 5 types of exclusivity for NDA for new drugs, and there's 2 types for exclusivity for ANDA. And the 5 types of exclusivity for NDA, the first one is NCE for new. This is a 5-year exclusivity for new active ingredients. Applicant challenge the patents can submit an ANDA or 505(b)(2) application at year 4. Next is the 3-year Hatch-Waxman exclusivity. This is a 3-year exclusivity for new conditions of approval supported by a new essential clinical study by applicants. During this exclusivity period, no 505(b)(2) or ANDA approval of new condition for 3 years. Next is the orphan exclusivity. This is a 7-year exclusivity for product for rare disease indications. It blocks against ANDA and most NDA. The next NDA exclusivity is the GAIN exclusivity. It stands for the Generating Antibiotic Incentive Now. This exclusivity gives additional 5 years of exclusivity for products granted under the Qualified Infectious Disease Product Designations. Last but not the least is the pediatric exclusivity. This is a 6-month exclusivity added to the existing patent and exclusivities for conducting a pediatric study. Two types of ANDA exclusivities are 100-day exclusivity. One for patent challenge and one for competitive generic. For patent challenge, it is granted to the first applicant that file a substantially complete ANDA that contain the P4 certifications. Competitive generic therapy exclusivity is granted to application for a drug product with inadequate generic competitions, currently under FDARA. This is a list of 3-year Hatch-Waxman exclusivity codes, most commonly seen in the Orange Book. This is a screenshot of the exclusivity and expiration date listed in the Orange Book for NDA under NDA product. Now, in conclusion, the Orange Book is a source for drug approved under Section 505 of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. The Orange Book is particularly critical in determining when generic drug version can be substituted for brand name products. Orange Book is the only definitive source for therapeutic equivalents and